The wokeness was the big thing. That's what was prevalent in a lot of those conversations, where it was women that were very much on the woke side of things.
They're so passionate about it that if they don't have a man that is equally as passionate about it, then they're kind of put off. And that's what I think happened. And especially the men weren't really leading the situation. They were pretty passive.
If we have a relationship, if we have a marriage, if we have a family, this is what the value systems are going to be. It has to be clear. And if that means that the woman's going to say, oh, no, I don't accept that, that's fine. Like, then you don't accept me, because as a leader, I'm going to set the value systems for our house. Yeah. And so what's the tea? What's the scoop? I mean, there's, we might as well.
We finished Love is Blind.
Yeah, we did finish the Love is Blind. So
what did you think of this season? I mean, only one couple got married. And to be honest, I thought they weren't going to make it past the you followed me and unfollowed me thing in the beginning.
Yeah, it was a lot of drama. I mean, the big thing which I kind of expected that in Minneapolis, the big thing that dissolved most of the relationships was wokeness. Because it came down to political wokeness ideas that the women held, that when they had the discussions with the men, no. They blamed it on all kinds of other things, but ultimately at the end, they came out saying that. So, which is unfortunate. It's sad, because then that kind of stuff makes it so that relationships get ruined, and but that's.
I still want to know what the TikTok was that the Sarah girl was so upset over about the Ben guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it must be out there, right? Like, people must have talked. I didn't look it up to see. But I'm
surprised they didn't play it at the reunion, because they're getting messier.
They didn't. There's a lot of things that I don't know, for the drama's sake, there's text evidence of these things that happened, right? So
yeah, but I guess they can't ask for it, or like.
Are they, I don't know. Is
the person's denying
Is
it?
some of this drama manufactured, right? Is it
Maybe.
Like, did these things really happen? Because like with the whole thing with the girls sleeping with the guy that was, before, what was her name? Lauren or Laura?
Yeah.
Whatever, her fling. But he thought it was the text between them would clarify whether this was a real relationship or not.
Right.
And what the timing of the things were. So did no one have these texts?
And if he really liked her,
yeah,
that wouldn't have mattered.
Right. Yeah.
Because he wasn't even introducing her to his family. And like she said, he kept saying, oh, they would support me on anything that I wanted them to. But then he'd be like, no, they don't want to be a part of this. It's like, well, if you actually cared about her, then you would want, they would be a part of it. Yeah. So I think it's funny, because he says that his sister didn't want him to be portrayed poorly on TV or whatever, but it seems like he went on the show just to be on TV. Yeah.
That's I think a lot of people. It's what's happening with the.
Yeah, that's why it's like you can't
There's less marriages, and there's only one. Like, they must have.
Yeah.
I also wonder. It's like, did they? At some point, what do they say? The producers be like, "All right, we'll give you more money if you get married. You can get annulled afterwards if you want to, but there must be something." Because what happens if no one gets married? Then they don't have a show?
I don't know.
It doesn't
or maybe they can spin it where they have enough drama. But yeah, it's definitely harder, I feel like, now to get people that don't just want to be on TV and quote famous. You know what I mean? So who knows? Well, I'm sure we'll keep watching, but there wasn't that much good I feel like real relationship problems in this one. I mean, maybe the prenup thing, that was a first, right? Has anyone else asked for a prenup?
I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, the big thing was the lesson of the whole, like I said, the wokeness was the big thing, was that's what was prevalent in a lot of those conversations, where it was, women that were very much on the woke side of things, pushing that as the most important thing that exists in the world, which, it's kind of the culture we live in, with people being brainwashed by media today. But it's unfortunate, because that's, and it's totally against the traditional type of relationship. Well, and those guys didn't lead, right? So those guys didn't step up and say, no, this is what I believe. This is how it is. they're just like, they're very passive. They're like, yeah, like, okay, yeah, I'm open to that. Or I don't even know what they're saying. Or I could learn more about those things. Like, instead of just saying, okay, this is what I believe, and this is what, like, they didn't take lead. So,
yeah, I mean, I think the issue is just that I don't think any of the guys made it seem like they don't care about people, but the women made it seem like if they didn't agree 100% that they didn't care. And that's not what like actually happened.
Right.
So.
And that's the problem, is that if you, just because you don't agree with all of these things that media has made important, like these are the causes that you have to get behind. If you don't agree with those things, then you don't care about people. That's like, that's a narrative that's been fed to a lot of people. And it's unfortunate because it becomes an obsession where like these women were obsessed with these topics, with these ideas. These are not even things that, that you encounter in your normal day-to-day life, so.
That's true. Well, without going too far into all of that, let's get into what our topic for today is.
But I do think it's important, though, because, like I said, we're talking about traditional modern relationships. Mm-hmm. Traditional relationship, it's the antithesis of wokeness. They are not compatible. So, and that's what we talk about. So,
okay.
Do you disagree?
I mean, I just think there's a difference between caring about people and having extreme views. So yeah, they were pushing their extreme views on other people, but I don't think it's a problem to care about different groups of people.
Right. And there's no one that doesn't, no one is saying to not care about different groups of people, mm-hmm. right? Being caring, that's what we're about. But I think being traditional and having roles where a man is the leader and is masculine and a woman is feminine, these are the things that we're espousing.
Right.
Those
I don't even think they really talked about any of that. Even like the guys, like you said, weren't leading.
Right.
And so the women were more in their masculine. And so that's what I saw. But the thing is that women, even if they're in their masculine, are going to care about people. Like, not saying men don't care about people, but they're going to care about people in a different way than a man does.
Right, exactly.
And it seems just like they, are portraying that they care so much about these people. And I do think they do care about these groups of people, but they don't care about the person that they're with if they feel like that person doesn't care as much as they do.
Right.
And I think men just show that they care about things in a different way, and they're not going to be as like out there about it as women are. And right. So, when they've gotten to the point that these women are at, they're so like passionate about it that if they don't have a man that is equally as passionate about it, then they're kind of put off right. by it. And that's what I think happened. And especially, the men weren't really leading the situation. They were pretty passive. And I feel like that is probably what triggered them the most, is that if they did have some sort of opinion, even if it was differing and they could have talked about it in a like cordial way,
right.
then it probably wouldn't even have been an issue. But I think the real issue deep down too was that the women were also taking control of the situation. And so, like, that is what ultimately ended up happening anyway. Like, they're the ones that broke it off because they were dictating all the things anyway. But, like, it's a complicated, like, web of things. But, yeah, like, a man has to lead. He has to stand up. He has to own his opinions. He can't be passive.
Right, exactly.
And a woman's going to care about people, but that doesn't mean that you shun people right. because they're not showing that they care in the ways that you're expecting them to.
Right, because it's hypocritical to the whole idea of being empathetic, right? Right. It's, what did they call it? The term for it is...
It's like selective empathy.
Well, it's empathetic exploitation. And that's what happens. And the media likes to use this. The whole woke movement is based on exploiting specifically women's empathy in a wrong way, right? And it's like, if you change your Facebook profile to a flag of a country, that's not the same thing as actually having empathy. That's the same thing as being on board with what you think is the winning team or what you're supposed to do, but like actually taking action, actually helping the people that you say that you have empathy for. That's actually having empathy, right? And so it becomes this image thing, which again, like I said, the guys need to take lead on this and say, no, this is what I believe. This is what, if we have a relationship, if we have a marriage, if we have a family, this is what the value systems are going to be. Like that, it has to be clear. And if that means that the woman's going to say, oh no, I don't accept that, that's fine. It's like, then you don't accept me, because as a leader, I'm going to set the value systems for our house. We'll talk about these things, but ultimately, like, you got to follow my lead. Otherwise, we don't have a relationship. But
yeah, I don't think any of those guys had the conversation.
No,
but I feel like you're either with us or against us mindset is horrible.
Exactly.
Like, because we can learn from all perspectives.
Exactly.
And so no matter what side it is, having you're either with us or against us mindset is damaging to everybody.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like Sarah's sister, who is lesbian, like, she very much was trying to push Sarah to make whatever decision that Sarah's sister wanted for Sarah.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like, caused Sarah to have a lot of internal struggles. And I feel like a lot of people with the mindset that she had and Virginia had, they don't want to seem like they don't care, because they do.
Right. Exactly.
And so they end up in these extreme versions. But the thing is that if you truly have empathy, it's for everybody and it's for every side and perspective. And even the bad guys.
Well, yeah, see, that's what
all bad people aren't totally bad. They have good points.
I have empathy for all these people, but the people who don't agree with me or don't agree with that don't show these people empathy in the way that I think they should be shown empathy, I don't have any empathy for them.
Right.
They can just rot in hell. That's the problem. That's what both of those women were projecting. And that's what a lot of people that have those same type of beliefs project, and then they alienate people. That's the thing about it. It's because it's like, me and you, we love everyone. It doesn't matter. Straight, gay, whatever, trans, it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to treat you the same. We're going to be loving. We're going to care about you. Like, we're not going to treat anybody differently. But also someone who has a differing viewpoint, they're also not going to get treated differently either, because that's it. It's not, it's being tolerant means being fully tolerant of all people, of understanding, have empathy for everyone. And I think that's the thing that's missed. But the reason why I point it out so much is because I think it is important in traditional modern relationships, because you do have those roles. But I also think it's important in dating too, because today in society, and maybe we should even just do a whole episode on it, has become so politicized and so divisive. It's already hard for men and women to come together and find each other in society, when men and women are against each other in our stratosphered type of climate. But then when you throw politics on top of that, and very divisive politics, and you let that be your guiding North Star in your entire life, it's even harder. And that's a problem. So
I agree.